Welcome to Native Talk Arizona, Native Health's Native American Cultural Affairs program, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm Susan Levy. Waylon P. Pahona Jr. is a motivational speaker, health and wellness trainer, and the founder of Healthy Active Natives, among many other things. He works extensively across Native American communities to promote physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Waylon, welcome to Native Talk Arizona.
Thank you for having me, Susan.
I'm so excited to learn more. I checked out your videos, and I know you've been doing things with Native Health, and the word on the street is that you are an amazing motivational speaker. I hear that time and time again. So
that's good to hear. It's good to hear. Yeah.
Good reputation. All right. So before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey.
So my name's Waylon Pahona. I'm Hopi, Tewa, Maricopa Pipash. Half my life I lived on the Hopi reservation and then now reside in the city. I recently moved to Gila River. So I'm out in District 7, Laveen area. I've been a personal trainer, been a health and wellness motivational speaker for the past 15 years. And so I've been a yoga instructor for the past 5. And so, teaching consciousness awareness and not necessarily doing a lot of the health and wellness as physical aspect, but more mental wellness and helping people and kind of like behavioral health. So, in a nutshell, that's pretty much what I've been doing.
Okay. Well, I think you're downplaying it a little bit, but okay, we'll get into that. All right. So I read the article in the Native Hope blog that everything that you've done, everything that you've coped with and overcome, I know you've had a lot and experienced a lot. So if you want to expand on any of that and tell us anything you'd like.
Sure. I mean, I think through the journey of being a health and wellness motivator, for me, I played sports all my life. And so in order to play sports, you can't teach or you can't do what you haven't done. And I've done a lot of unfortunate, things have happened in my life that I've had to work through, sexual abuse, having to deal with death, alcoholism, different things on the reservation. And throughout that journey has basically built me to have an understanding. And I always tell people this, my story is not unique to Indian country. Because a lot of people can relate to a lot of the things that have happened to me. And so for me, it's being transparent in my life and what has helped me to basically help others. So that's just the beginning journey of me growing up on the reservation. And then I went through a breakup of a long time, of years. And so having to understand what that's like to go through a breakup of 18 years, that also molded me. And then from there, losing my brother, him passing, losing my father, eventually to where grief has been a journey for me now. And unfortunately, I lost my son as of August 24th. And my mom in January of 2026. So the journey of everything that I've been through is basically just like, what is there to learn in this life? What is there to get from these messages of life just lifing? And so it's really built me to be transparent with the words that I share, my thoughts, my emotions. And back in the day when I was a personal trainer, I was really just telling people, hey, you need to do this to be healthy. You need to do this, positive affirmations and sharing these things. But what I realized is that is not what's helping. It wasn't helping me. And so I had to really, I shouldn't say I had to, but I went through these things, the sadness and all of the emotions of my life to rebuild myself. And through that rebuilding of myself is then where those words come out. So I no longer really offer positive enforcement to others on social media. It's really me just navigating and getting messages from people like, man, I can really relate to what you shared, or I'm going through the same thing in my life. And it's really amazing to hear how you're navigating through those emotions. So that's basically where I've kind of been now in this life and how I've switched my motivation to in my health and wellness journey.
I'm sorry for your loss. That is a tremendous amount of things that have happened to you.
Thank you.
And you're I don't know if I would be doing as well as you are with all of those losses.
Oh, well, thank you.
Like up and out and doing everything that you're doing. So I know you've talked about like physical fitness. How did you get started? So you were a trainer, and then how did you get started in motivational speaking? Like, did it just morph into that, or?
So it's actually two things. One, I was very unhealthy myself. I was close to 300 pounds. I was suppressing my emotions to the sexual abuse. And in 2007, I finally expressed those things that have happened to me. For me, I didn't want to share it. I felt like as a man, that's not manly. That's not a warrior to express those things. And so I suppressed it. And that going over 30 years, I finally hit a breaking point. There's a saying in yoga, the issues lie in the tissues. And with that, all the trauma is stored in the body. All the trauma is stored in the fascia. And I think all of that led up to me just finally breaking emotionally, spiritually, mentally. And there was an attempt on my life because I felt I didn't need to be here. Thankfully, I live now and live a life that I have a better understanding that I am not of the circumstances that have happened to me. That I was just in the trajectory and the pattern of those things. And so it took me out of this, oh, pity me, oh, why me? It was like, that wasn't your fault. You were in the pathway of these negative people. You were in the pathway of learned behavior from people who hurt people. And so through that journey of really having this epiphany of life and shifting those things, I started receiving behavioral health. I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress, which I myself didn't know that a reservation kid, I thought only people who went to war, could be diagnosed with post-traumatic stress. So from there, I started walking. I started moving. I started to lose that 300 pounds. Mind you, I was always pretty active. I wrestled 171 in high school. I played football at 190 pounds. So me gaining almost up to, about 300 pounds, I then started to move. And then through that movement, it started to become running. And then I became an ultra marathon runner and running long distances, over 50K, just having these thoughts and emotions to where I'm like, man, I want to become a personal trainer. I want to help people. And for me, it was like I had this huge, it had nothing to do with the physical part of wanting to move. It was the mindset. It was shifting my mindset to believe in myself. And then from there, I started to help others, shift the mindset in their trauma, shift the mindset in those things that you aren't those things. You aren't your trauma. And utilizing and using my life to share as that transparency for others to jump on the wagon of wellness. So that's kind of how it all started.
I think that's, especially when you talk about being in the trajectory with all of that. And I've not heard that before, and but that's definitely true, because you're not what's happened to you. You were just in the pathway of those things, and you learned. So, all right. So you've done that, and then you got into motivational speaking. How long have you been speaking and presenting at workshops? Because people do talk about you, and I hear them time and time again and say how moved they were, and some of the wellness gatherings that you do, and just what an amazing. I was reading up, and I've known about you for a long time, and so how long have you been doing this? Since
So it started in, I believe, 2011. I started Healthy Active Natives, and I reached out to a bunch of people, and I thought, I wonder if I could get people to jump on board with this wellness on social media. And at the time, there was people saying, social media is negative. It's not good. But I felt, man, as long as I push positive things, I think that could be a shift. And so I reached out, and then I started a small group of maybe a couple hundred people. And it just blew up. It blew up to more and more people joining and then sharing and expressing. And I wanted it to be more of this wellness of the mindset and sharing those things rather than just physical. And then it became physical. Everybody started posting their workouts. People started joining together, and they just grew and grew. And so from there, I received the Healthy Innovation Award through IHS.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and it really was. It was really just like, wow, how from just this small group, this small social media group that went from 5,000, 10,000, 30,000, 50,000, 74,000. And so when they had me speak, they wanted me to do the keynote for that IHS award. And mind you, there was a bunch of other IHS attendees, awardees there that were at that ceremony. And so I typed out this whole speech. And then when I got to the podium, I put my speech out and I couldn't read it. It just looked like Campbell's soup, just a bunch of letters. And I was like, oh no, like I can't read this. And then I folded it up and I put it in my back pocket. And then I just started speaking. And from there, that led to other IHS hospitals, clinics, people that were there hear me speak. And from there, they invited me like, hey, we heard that you speak here. Come here. So it's basically just planting seeds with the gift of gab. So I think that my words really resonated, and then it just kind of went from there, from place to place to place. And so now, fast forward to now, I've probably done well over 300 keynote speeches all across the U.S., Canada. And that's kind of the journey of how it all started, was that IHS award ceremony.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I know you travel a lot. I saw on some of your social media that you had been up north, and I know you were, and even local, like you were out at Gila River, and I know that one you were talking about, talking with the elders. I was watching how you talked about the elders to think of their parents, and then unfortunately the passing of your mom. But do you do something different each time when you speak? Like, do you tailor it to the audience? And then do you do men's, and I know you do a lot of men's gatherings or men's wellness gatherings. Do you do women's, or do you do both?
I do men's. And so to answer your question about tailoring, so this is what I do. Whoever books me, I try to at least have them have me there a day before. Or I come to the conference and spend the whole time there. And it's crazy because 2 weeks ago I was in Wyoming, and last week. Last week I was in Wyoming, and the lady who had me out there, she's like, it's really neat that you come to the conference and you stay. You and I said, that's how I learn. Yeah. That's how I learn from the community. That's how I learn to speak, because I don't want anything to be this cookie cutter speech. I don't want everything to be just all stated. So I want to come early. I want to learn about the community. I want to learn the things that the community is going through. And so from there, I collect my thoughts. I'll sometimes go for a run. I'll go for a walk. And I just really, really hyper focus on the people, the reservation, the land. It really helps me gain this perspective. And so every conversation, every speech that I give can be unique in its own way. I try not to write things down. I try not to have. I'll have some points if they want some key PowerPoints, or they want something as a lecture. I'll do that, but I don't want to be focused on that, because I learned this as a personal trainer years back, and it goes back to this story that I want to share. So I was asked to do an elder's chair exercise, and so no, it was just a chair. It was a chair exercise for people. Do a modification to people who are just barely getting active. And so I made a playlist. I had all of these beats per minute. I had all of these things, and then I had a script of what I was gonna do, right? And as soon as I walked through that door, it was elders and seniors. And it completely just, my playlist was not for them. And I had to really shift that and change that. And from that day forward, I was always in my head like, you cannot have something pre-made because you don't know what your audience is going to be like. You don't know. So always go in with no expectations. And so that's how I've always navigated all my presentations, all my workshops. I'll have key points, but don't be fully prepared. Just take it the way it is and then go with the flow.
I mean, that's good advice. You go in, you never know what you're walking into. Yeah.
And sometimes you go into spaces where you only have a few people. And so it's like, don't expect this. Just have no expectations. For me, is what I've done this whole time. And I think I did a speech, and I remember there was about 5 people. And the person who booked me was like, it was like you didn't even notice that there was. It's like you spoke to a large group of people, and you had those 5 people's attention. And it was because those are the people that I'm gonna give all that energy to. It's not just I wish there was more people. It's like, no, these 5 people showed up, and they're gonna get the best of me in that time frame that they have me.
That's awesome. All right, so what have you got planned, if you're allowed to mention anything, for the future?
Just focusing on getting more men's groups together. We had our first men's group last year. A big shout out to Holly Figueroa, who helped us get that together for our first men's gathering. And that was amazing. So I've been working with men. I started out with Selena Garza with the Strong Heart Study back in 2021. And can I share that story?
Yeah. She's NIH, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
National Institutes for Health, for our listeners that don't know, yes.
So this was very interesting, and this goes back to the trauma of what I've been through. I was asked to sit on a focus group, and the question was, would you sit with a group of men and for about an hour and a half session, each at least once a month? And I'm like, I'm not going to drive all the way across town to go sit with a group of men. I couldn't see myself doing that. And so I was the first person to say no. And they said, okay. And they, it was that. And I got a little gift card for coming. And then several months later, Selena and Kaimi Andrews, they actually reached back out again and asked me if I would take it on with Selena. And I was like, well, I didn't want to, but then I was like, let me try. And it was on Zoom because COVID, it was just past COVID.
Okay. Yeah.
So I decided to do it. And they basically had their own curriculum. So this was through Washington State University. They had this curriculum for health and wellness, and I just basically indigenized some of it. And I came to a place where I was sitting with a group of men on Zoom, which was just weird for these native dudes just all to come on a Zoom. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm doing this. And then I started to really enjoy it. And what I realized in that space was men were comfortable in their own homes to open up and be vulnerable with themselves. Because what I did was the first time I jumped on that Zoom and met these men, I let them know who I was. I let them know that I'm just like them. Not no titles, no I'm not this personal trainer is going to tell you to do all. I'm just going to sit here with you guys and get the same information, and we're going to go from there. And so we did. Fast forward, I did 3 years with Washington State University facilitating these men's group with Selena, and we serviced well over I think close to 200 men all across the U.S.
That's awesome.
And to see these men get emotional and vulnerable, I then became a yoga instructor, which I then infused yoga. So I actually have some videos of these men doing yoga with me on Zoom. Some of them in their garages, some of them outdoors at different reservations. And it was very emotional and very powerful. And so that brought me back to me. So the reason why I didn't want to work with men is because as of the past couple of years, I recently came out and I was sexually abused by a male friend when I was little. I was about 11 years old. He was about a year older than me. And I thought the world of this guy. I thought he was this amazing guy. There's always that one native kid that is cool, got the weapons, got the machete, got the butterfly knives. And it's like, I gravitate towards someone like that, because I was like, oh man, this guy's really cool. He has these weapons. And he unfortunately sexually abused me. And so for that to happen to me, all of these years playing football, wrestling, baseball, I was very toxic as a man. I was this, I now that I look at it, I was this over masculine, like just got to be tough, got to, got to be that kid, on the team that has to hurt somebody, that has to just anger. And so it brought me to that. And that's the one reason why I never wanted to do anything with men. I didn't want to work with them. And so through joining that program, it had me work through my own trauma and understanding. And then when I shared this with the men, it was really shocking to hear that other men related to my story and couldn't believe that, man, you're sharing something that I could never, and it helped them heal themselves. And so we continued with that. And then I started working in drug and alcohol recovery, teaching yoga, teaching men, and then just having this really understanding of men and really having them open up to this consciousness and this awareness, not through traditional teachings, because mind you, I'm working with all tribes.
Right.
And I'm having these men come to a place of having a human experience rather than, oh, this is traditional. And I'm not trying to, I'm just basically trying to help them have this awareness. Because what I come to realize in the space of working with a lot of these men, some of these men already are broken, that they're not in their traditional ways. They're not feeling like in a place to express themselves in that way. So why am I going to try to push that onto them when they're not ready? So it's having this breath work, meditation, consciousness, vibration, frequency to have them then feel and then have this human experience first. And so when I started to do that, I'm like, man, I'm really enjoying working with men. I want to have my own men's conference. And so I got some of the best guys that I know that work with men. I have a two-spirit dad. I have an uncle who's raised his own nephews and nieces. I have a father that is doing really well with his family. So I picked different men that are just fathers. No titles, no responsibility, no like, oh, this guy does this, he's part of this. No, it was more men relate to men that are doing the same things. Again, you can't teach what you haven't done. And there's a saying, res knows res. They know when you've been through it. They know that you're grinding. And so people are more open to be part of that. And so fast forward 2024, we had this amazing gathering at Twin Arrows in Flagstaff. This year we had it at Wild Horse Pass at the Shelby building, which was beautiful. And then we're going to be having our next gathering at the Shelby building this coming 2027. So it went from one day, and a lot of complaints from our men where it's too short. We got to have another day. So this year we did 2 days. And then on the comments and on the surveys, that's too short. So we're going to 3 days now. So it's a 3-day conference for this next one.
And when is that going to be?
January 15th through the 17th. Okay. And it's free. We've been hustling funds to get this going because we want it to be open and just we want all the men to feel that love without having to worry about pay to come,
How many people do you think how many came last year and how many are you expecting this year?
So last year we had about 30 to 40 men, if I remember. This year we had about 70. And then this one, I think we're opening it up to over 100 men to come.
I think the thing is, when you're speaking and I'm listening to you, is that you're so genuine and that you're not preachy. Mm-hmm. I mean, no judgment. And I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. I'm sure the men do too, and genuine and I
thank you for that because I myself don't want to be preached to. I don't want to be told how. As a man, I say this like, don't tell me how to live my life, and I won't tell you. I'm just giving you an experience of my own lens.
So, Waylon, what have you learned from your attendees? So, I know you said you've had different groups. I know you've done some for Native Health. I know the groups that you've done for us look to me like they've been huge. I know I get photos and we do post that. But what have you learned, or what, if you were to lay awake at night or have a cup of coffee and go, wow, this has all been worth it, is there somebody in particular or story or somebody that you've met that has really made a huge impact on you?
I mean, all the men, and what I've come to realize is we are all just sharing, and we're all just trying to live. We forget that every one of us is going through something. What we tend to do is we tend to believe we're the only one going through this situation. We're the only one that's dealing with this, and no, all the things, whether it's sexual abuse, trauma, things that have gone on from our parents, all of us have something that we've gone through. And now it's a men sharing and expressing those things. It's a true warrior of being emotional, of sharing and finding this common bond as men together. And so that's the biggest thing that I love about seeing these men get vulnerable, seeing these men hug and cry and embrace one another. One of our presenters, one of our good guys, did a really good activity. And what this activity was he had us all lock arms as men. His name is Michael Adams, and he was walking around the room talking to these men. And as he was talking to these men, they were just flexed, and he had them lock arms. And he talked for not even long, about 3 minutes, and then he told them to relax, and then just like, they were cramping because they were so tight. They were not used to that. They were not used to touch like that. And so it was funny. They were laughing at each other because they were so flexed, and just it was very foreign. So he has them do it again. And he has them breathe, and then that's when they fully just let go, and they fully embrace each other's, and they got past that guard of blocking themselves. And it was such a powerful thing to witness, to see. And it's like, how many of us continue to keep that guard up throughout the trauma that we've been through? Again, it goes back to that the issues lie in the tissues. For what circumstances that you've been through that you store that trauma, whether it's from your childhood, whether it's seeing your parents do things that aren't healthy, all of that is stored. And so it's getting to this one common place with men and having them release it. So that's what I've learned a lot from these men and these groups that we put together.
I think it's true. I mean, everybody's been through something, and everybody has things going on, and it's not just you. And I think sometimes when people are short with other people and they think, oh, it was something I did, and it's like you have no idea what's going on in their life and what happened that morning or whatever. But
and to add to that too, you'll have the person who is in recovery. You'll have the guy who is a manager of a business, and he's relating to those things. So it's like it's all common. I just wanted to also add that.
Do you get do you ever work with like teens, or do you wait until they're adults? I mean, I'm sure there's a whole difference if you're working with younger men versus, adults or over 21 or whatever.
So when I was working for Gila River as a personal trainer, I used to work a lot with the youth. I used to do a lot of youth. I used to work at or assist the Boys and Girls Club out in
Kamaki.
Yeah. So I used to do some of their basketball stuff for the youth. I used to go to youth camps, help out. I just went to the youth camp you guys had this past summer.
Yeah.
I got to work with the kids. Yeah. I got to play with them. So, I talked to high schools. I talked to elementary schools. And I tell them to be, I'm very intentional. So it's like I let them know I'm not going to talk to kindergartens to high schoolers. It's just not possible because that's not the same conversation. So I break them up in groups. Okay. So like if you can have them broken up in this group, and then the message. So it's little guys play, and then play and lecture, and then a little bit less play and lecture, and then talk and conversation, and then it shifts. So it's always having to know your audience, especially with the kids. And again, not fully preparing, but just knowing that whatever is going to happen is going to happen. And so thankfully, I've been able to talk with high schoolers, the teens.
Do you like that?
Yeah,
And
I
middle
enjoy.
schoolers?
I enjoy speaking to everyone. It's a challenge in every way. So yeah,
Wow, that you can even do it that fast and think, and good for you. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
We'll continue our interview with Waylon Pahona after this short break. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 8800 North 22nd Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. And Native Health provides primary medical services at the new Guadalupe Health Center, 6725 South Priest Drive in Guadalupe. Native Health provides primary medical, dental, behavioral health, WIC, and wellness services for the urban Native American community. For more information, call 602-279-5262 or visit our webpage at nativehealthphoenix.org. Native Talk Arizona returns after this song. You are listening to Peace of Mind by Smokey D. Palmtree.
Some peace of mind, no doubt. This must be what it is. Good vibes only bliss.
All right, let's go back to the Healthy Active Natives.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, I think you said 2011? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And so what are you doing with that now?
So one of the greatest things that I love about this, and I think this is something in all Native communities, is sustainability. Healthy Active Natives is sustainable on its own. It's alive on its own. I don't post, I don't share in there. There's people that don't even know that I created it, and I love that. It's got a life of its own, a journey of its own. I do have admins who are, deal with situations because, of course, there are some situations. Of course, it's over 70,000 people. So you're going to have situations. So I do have moderators who moderate. And if there's something that it's too much for them to handle, then they'll reach out to me. And then I'll message the person and I'll talk to them. But there's such a disconnection to it. because I don't want to be engulfed in social media in that way. It can be negative if you let it. And so I don't. So yeah, it's sustainable. And I think that is the overall goal for anything that Native people to do is have something that is sustainable. And that right there is something that I'll pat myself on the back for, because it's on its own and I don't have to deal with it.
That's awesome. All right. So let's talk about, I know this wasn't one of my questions. So you used to be an ultra marathon runner.
Mm-hmm.
You still running?
I'm getting ready for the New York Marathon. I took a break from running, a long break, about 7-8 years, because I had a knee surgery on my right knee. I was actually doing a prayer run out in Oregon, and I didn't even run very far. I actually was getting in the van. We were doing like over 100 miles, and I was just getting in the van, and I tore my meniscus out there in Oregon. So cleaned it up, had a minor orthoscopic surgery on that, and that kind of really put me out. I didn't realize how much that would put me out. And then a couple years down the line, I had a surgery on my other knee, and that really just completely, that one was a lot worse. And so from there, I kind of just stopped running and did more walking. You know, I really took a toll on me emotionally because I thought, man, I can't run anymore. And then I did a couple races. I did a couple marathons in between there. I did an ultra in Las Vegas. I did one in the desert out there. And then I did New York Marathon 2 years ago, but I stopped. After New York Marathon, I was like, my knees started to bother me again. And so when my mom and my son passed, that was my motivation to get out there and say, I'm doing this for my mom and son. And so I picked the charity, which is Native Strength Revolution, who I'm part of the yoga group there. And so I raised $4,500 for their organization, but to also, as my son and my mom's legacy, to run that for them. So I'm pretty excited about it, and I've been training and doing the best I can to be prepared for that run. So this is going to be a very special run for me, November. So the first week in November, I don't remember the date, but that's what I'm preparing for now.
And you have to qualify for that, right?
No, when you run for a charity. So
Okay.
Just so your listeners know, are for time, and you have to get invited. Or you can pick a charity, and then you're more able to get in, but you have to raise the money first in order to be a part of all of that. So that's the other route to go.
So then the pressure's not on you in case your knees hurt that day, that you don't have to perform and make a super fast time.
Yeah, no. I'm doing it for charity.
Just doing it. Okay,
Yeah.
that's awesome. And so what else do you do? So I know I saw you running on the treadmill when I looked at one of your videos. And then if it's hot, do you do that? Do you train inside? Because it's pretty warm.
I train outdoors.
you do?
I train outdoors. Last week I did a 10-miler, and I ran out of water out there, and it was hot. And so I just need to be more mindful of those things, and because I've seen there's quite a few people who have passed away, and a lot of people on the trails. So normally I have a plan, and on that day I didn't. So now it's like, okay, you got to have a better plan the next time you go out. But I'm out there every single day. Rain, heat, whatever, humidity, I'm out there.
So you would encourage people definitely have a plan if they're going outside. If they're going to
Yes.
run outside or walk outside. I assume it's the basic things. Tell somebody where you're going, bring water,
So like,
have your cell phone.
So I was going out in the desert out there in Gila River, and so I pinned myself to my brother to let him know, hey, I'm going to go out here. So just so he knew that I was out there. So also doing that, putting your location out there for people to find you just in case.
That's probably a good idea, especially in this heat.
Yes.
And then any other easy tips, like, I don't know, 1 or 2 easy tips to get started on a fitness journey? Manifesting yourself to do what you want to do. I mean, that's the overall. And how I'm going to explain that is visually see yourself putting on your shoes. Visually see yourself putting on that outfit that you're going to wear. Visually see yourself walking on that treadmill or walking outside. Because words are powerful. The words you say and express can create anything. And so if you consistently manifest yourself walking, you're going to go out there and walk. And so that's the first thing.
I think walking is the greatest pathway to get on your journey. And that's a starting point. And I would stick with that starting point first. And then once you're out there, then maybe months down the line you start jogging. Maybe months down the line then you start running. So it's manifesting that day, and then continue to do that until one foot starts going after the other.
It's true. Every morning. It's not easy at like 4:30 in the morning.
Because you said you do 4 miles.
I try to do it, but it's hard to get up at 4:15 every morning, and it's like, the alarm clock's going off. But definitely having the shoes there. And
I know you probably you probably have a little visual of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And know what you're gonna. I mean, I have everything laid out the night before, but it's definitely like this morning at 4:15. I'm like, I did not want to get up, but I also, as I mentioned to you, it's too hot for me outside.
Everybody's tolerant. Everybody's different. Just because we see somebody else doing it, that's their body. So I try to also mention that to people, like, don't copy somebody because you think it's cool, or you think, I want to be that person. It's like, no, we're all separate in our wellness journey.
Right. And some people just, out here can't tolerate heat. I think as you get older, for some of us, it's harder to tolerate the heat and just more difficult.
And that's true, because for me, I used to be out there in the middle of the day back in my early 20s and 30s. I'll be 48 in November, and my tolerance to the heat isn't the way it used to be. So I feel that too.
Yeah. I mean, it's when the weather's nice, it's beautiful. But when it's 100 degrees by 8 o'clock in the morning, it's pretty warm and the sun beating down on you. So, Waylon, do you ever run into people with excuses like no time, no money, no energy, I'm too busy, I'm too tired? What do you say to them?
All the time. And again, it goes back to that manifestation. We are our thoughts. And so I say this to people, it's the same thing as school. Like, I'm horrible at math. I suck at English. Well, when you say those things, you become those things. And if you have constant, like, I don't have the time, I don't have the shoes, I don't have this. No, you do. It's just you creating that compromise. It's self-sabotage. So I have an interesting story about this. There was this guy who he was in drug and alcohol recovery, and I was working with him, and he was like, man, I wish I could start exercising again. He goes, back in the day, I was really nice looking. And he goes, look at me now, I'm all fat and I don't look attractive anymore. And so he said, I said, why aren't you just walking? He goes, well, when I walk outside, people look at me. And when I'm walking on the sidewalk, people are looking at me, and I know they're saying I'm fat. And I looked at him, and I said something that was a little bit like, it was a shocker, but he was like, I said, nobody cares about what you look like out there. Nobody is looking at you. I said, every single person is living their life. I said, nobody is looking at you and thinking, oh man, that guy's fat. And he looked at me, and I said, all of us are not that relevant to others.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
That's true, though.
And he was like, he goes, you know what? That kind of hurt my feelings, but he goes, you're right. I was like, yeah. I was like, you're creating this compromise that, people are looking at me, I'm fat, I'm this. I was like, nobody's paying attention to that. And I said, stop. And so it's crazy because he did. And he's like, you know what? I walked after we left, because it was a outpatient, one of the sessions. And he said, I walked, and I started walking. And then I just thought about it. It's like, nobody cares. And so again, it's that compromise that we create for ourselves on why we can't go. There's always, there's 24 hours in the day, even just a 5-minute walk, getting yourself out there. So I don't believe in those excuses. It's your own self who's creating that.
Good story and true. And very true.
Yeah. And that motivation and discipline has to come from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to change back over to what are you planning for the future? I know you said you've got the wellness gathering in January up at Sheldy at Gila River. What else are you thinking that either the rest of this year, so 2026, and into 2027, so more gatherings? Are you thinking you're going to change anything? Do you have anything planned? Or just keep going on the same path?
Just going on the same path, planting the seeds. Wherever people hear me speak, that's kind of how I've always, I feel like I'm real grassroots and real underground because I don't share like, hey, have me come to your community. It's like if they heard me and they liked it, it's like, oh man, we love what he said. Let's invite him to Wyoming. Oh, we heard you in Wyoming. Oh, let's have you come to Montana. Oh, we heard you in Montana. Have you come here? So that journey has just been going, just speaking the gift, the gab, the words, spreading those seeds and just letting it happen organically. Because for me, it's like if I want people to have me come to their community, then it's work. I don't ever want this to be work. I want it to just be a conversation that continues throughout Indian country.
That's pretty awesome. So where have you been this year?
Oh my gosh, I've been to Yakima, I've been to Wyoming, I've been to Minnesota, I was in North Dakota. Oh my gosh, there's other places I just can't think.
So a lot
right
up north.
now.
Do you stay like a lot though in like Arizona in the Southwest, or mostly?
Yeah, it varies. It varies,
Okay.
but I really enjoy going in the Northwest and the northern plains because it's a new audience and it's a new group of people, and so I enjoy wherever I go. I love to learn. It's funny when I go up to the northern plains, I'm like the tiniest guy up there, and the funny thing is people see me on social media and think I'm this 6 foot tall guy, and then when they see me in person, they're like, "Man, you're just this little guy." Yeah.
But a big and important and a wonderful
Yeah.
presence, right?
Yeah.
You do. Any chance you're going to head to like the East Coast? I know you said you were also in Canada. Was that on the Western?
That was more. I've been to Vancouver. I've been to Edmonton. I've been to Calgary.
Okay.
All up in that area, but not on the East Coast.
Well, maybe that'll be the next thing, right?
Yeah, one of the most beautiful places. Oh my gosh, I just lost my brain. It's an island just off of Martha's Vineyard. Martha's Vineyard was
Cape Cod.
amazing to do some work out there. Did some men's work out there, and yeah, just the land and the native community out there treated us very well. So yeah, that was one of my favorite places.
And when was that?
I think that was last year. Yeah,
Okay.
we went up there last year.
So you do how many a year?
I would say about 20 a year, and then little things here and there that are in Arizona, so close to 50.
So you're pretty busy.
Pretty busy.
So it's like one a week.
Sometimes I'm on a 4-week break right now, and I'm loving it because I'm also an artist, so I get to do my artwork. And since my son passed, I've really been trying to get myself to pick up my pen and pick up my artwork. So that's what I'm manifesting and creating, and I thought maybe I'll do some meditation to get me to pick up my pen again and start doing some artwork.
Okay, so now that we don't have tons of time, I do want to ask what kind of art. Is it ink?
I
Ink
do
drawings?
I do native art. I do like some of the Hopi designs, some of the more Southwest really abstract, detail oriented stuff. So I like doing that, the fine line.
So with ink.
Like pottery, so yeah, stuff like that.
But what
Just
medium?
drawings, paintings,
Okay.
stuff like that. So
And what do you draw or paint on? Like canvas, or you're doing paper?
canvas, paper, on my iPad. I got what is that program called? Procreate. So that makes it easier for me now, because back in the day I would trace something to make it so fine over 50 times. So once I draw the etch, then I put the tracing paper over it to fine tune it. But now those days are over. So I could have 30 copies of one thing that I fully got perfect.
That's
I
awesome.
don't need to do that anymore.
Okay, so are you into people looking at your artwork? Do you share any
Yeah,
of that or not yet?
T-shirts. I sell T-shirts. I sell designs. I've done a lot of different stuff for MMIW. I've done stuff for different grassroots organizations. Done their logos. So I've done a lot of logo work.
Wow, you are multi-talented.
Thank
All right,
you.
well, we're pretty much out of time. So how can our listeners find more information about you,
Mm-hmm.
everything you do, your art, your Healthy Active Natives, your speaking, your motivational speaking, your wellness gatherings? Is there one way to reach you, or what do you suggest?
So I'm going to give you the hardest way to do this. And what you're going to do is you're going to put in the search of Facebook, Instagram, just put Waylon Pahona, and you'll find me.
Okay, how do you spell
That's
your
how
last
simple.
name?
So it's Waylon, Waylon, like Waylon Jennings, Pahona, Pahona. And so you can find videos, you can find podcasts, you can even YouTube my name. I'm not one for, that's just how I like it. So if it's meant for you to see one of my videos, then it's meant for you to see it.
And then there's contact information in there if they want to reach out to you.
Yes.
And book you or look at your art or whatever you're doing.
Mhm. And just message me.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure. I've learned a lot, and I've had a lot of fun. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for listening to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and 90.7 FM KRDP. Our executive producer is Susan Levy. Sound engineer is Javier Quiroga. We hope you will tune in again next week. If you have any questions, please reach us at nativetalkaz@listen2krdp.com.